This winter I owe it to myself to protect my little ears from the cold and the rain and the snow. Never snows here, but I'm with you. And also my friends' ears, because I thought, what better gift but one that is handmade and weather appropriate. All right, grab your free pattern, it's linked below. Let's get started, because it's balaclava season. If you have already printed your pattern, you can disregard this segment, and here's the timestamp. But if you're about to, listen up. First things first, you want to make sure that your pattern is printed at a 100% scale. I know that sometimes computers have certain settings that adjust the printing size. We don't want that. We want the pattern to be printed in its original size. Number 2, please disregard pages number 2 and 4 because no pattern pieces are included in those 2 pages. However, I found it useful to include them so that there's a better understanding of the layout. So if you can and want, go ahead and set up your printer to avoid printing pages number 2 and 4. Number 3, the length of the necktie is completely up to you. You can go extra and add some extra length, or you could even go shorter if you're out of fabric. For the pattern, I went for a medium length because I didn't want you to waste so much printing paper. But yeah, you can make it longer. In fact, I think I might go longer if I have enough fabric today. 4, if you're going for a bi-color balaclava like me, here's fabric number 1, here's fabric number 2, and here's how you're supposed to cut them. And finally, all of the pattern pieces include a 1 centimeter seam allowance, so you can forget about that. All right, let's get started. Now that we have all of our pieces, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place and sew our darts in the back piece. The way that I like to do it is by simply trimming the triangle shape that comes in the pattern and drawing it with chalk and then sewing it shut. I also had to split my necktie into 2 parts because I didn't have enough length. So I'm also going to get that out of the way and join the 2 pieces. Once the darts are sewn in, I recommend giving them a good press inwards towards each other. And forget about them for now because they will eventually be locked in place. Now that our headpiece has a head shape to it, the next step is we're going to join this with the upper panel, right sides together. Usually I pin things, but for this, I feel like it's best not to pin and sort of go with the curvature. It's not as hard as it looks like, I promise you. Just keep placing the fabric around the curvature. Okay, at this point, this is what it looks like. If you have a little bit of excess, that's completely normal because, one, I wanted to make sure to account for the curvature and the possibility of that eating up a tiny bit of fabric. And the second reason is that some fabrics are a bit stretchier than others. So I just wanted to make sure that nobody would run out of fabric. So if you have some excess fabric right here, which you probably do, just trim it away. I personally went ahead and I serged my edges, but you can definitely skip this step if you want to. Okay, we're getting very close to the end. Now it's time to close our front edge. We're gonna take our front bias piece and we're gonna sew it with that front edge, right sides together, at a 1 cm seam allowance. Time to do a little bit of ironing. We're going to fold our front bias twice. First, we'll fold the edge 1 cm, give it a press, and then fold the whole piece halfway and press it again. We're basically sandwiching the edge of the hat, just like a normal bias tape would. If you'd like, you can go ahead and top stitch the front bias shut. However, I like to do it by hand because I don't like any stitches showing, especially with this type of fabric. If you're gonna do it by hand, make sure to not space out your stitches too much, because if you do that, you're gonna get small bumps and we don't want that. So take your time, take your time. Well, that took a while, but we're almost there. We're gonna dive into the last step, which is sewing the necktie. For the necktie, you're going to fold your hat and find the back center point. Once you have that, measure and mark 3 cm from the lower edge, because that's where we're gonna start attaching our necktie. Make sure to line up both pieces in their center points, right sides together. I like to start sewing from the center point outwards twice, just to make sure that everything is perfectly lined up. Once both pieces are attached, you're gonna measure around 10 cm from the lateral edges and mark those points on the tie. That's basically the gap that we are leaving to turn the ties inside out, because the next step is closing our ties. So fold them right sides together, like shown, and sew them shut until your markings on both sides. If you want to get really pointy angles, the trick is that you have to trim the excess seam allowance sideways really close to the stitching. After that, you can start turning the ties inside out with a pointy object. I'm using this, but you can use any method you like. The last thing we need to do is we're going to take this edge, fold it in 1 cm, give it a good press, and sew it by hand. And this is it. You've got yourself a balaclava. This one is supposedly for a dear friend of mine. Not supposedly, I will give it to her because I really like my friend. But I will be making another one for myself right after this because I absolutely love how it looks. I think it's really cute, if I do say so myself. I think I'll probably start experimenting with quilted fabrics as well because the whole point is to keep you warm. And I also think this could benefit from something a bit sturdier. I don't know what you think. In the meantime, if you make this balaclava, I beg you, please tag me on Instagram. That would make me so very happy. That would make me extremely happy. Very, very happy. Honestly, if you're shy, just DM me. Just DM me. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Anyways, if you would like to see more free patterns like this, consider supporting the channel. You can like, you can subscribe. You can also join my Patreon, and that's it. I post every week, usually on Thursdays. See ya.